Sharing the truth, one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Wayne S. Spreaker Show podcast for the 12th of November, 2014. You ever wake up in the morning and just can't talk, you can't walk, you're just like stumbling all over the place? Yeah, I do that before I have my coffee. It's like hanging onto the wall, you know. Speaking of which, I'm having coffee now, folks. Anyway, how y'all doing today? Yesterday, my podcast was filled with, all sorts of good stuff. And also the Views Express Live was on there. And you heard the Chris Ann Hall show. You heard, my show as well. So thank you for listening. I appreciate that. I was just looking at the stats and for my show, the Views Express Live, holy moly. People really like that show. Go to Spreaker.com, go to Free America Radio Network and check things out. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are just... Let me give you two words, if I can speak. Let me give you two words, okay? Hegelian dialectic. Just think about those words. Hegelian dialectic. And then you go tell me that those principles and that method is not happening right now. Problem, reaction, solution. Now think about this for a moment, because it's important to understand that they will create a problem. They have worldwide. I'm talking about Washington, D.C., our own government, military, and prison industrial complexes. And the pharmaceutical industrial complex. They've created the problem. They've created the problem. The problem is there. And guess what? They get us to react in a way that they have predicted through their analysis. And they predict we react in that way. And guess what? We are reacting in that way. And therefore, they come along and manipulate the global chess game to their advantage by saying, I've got a solution. They create the problem. We react. They come up with a solution. Okay? You see how that's working out for us here, folks? We're sovereign individuals with God-given rights that should not be taken away, that cannot be taken away, that are protected. The principles of those God-given rights are protected under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871. That's bottom line, period. You cannot go wrong with the Constitution. Okay? But see, we have global elites who are manipulating the United States to do two things. Net neutrality. In other words, the government is going to come along and create a Chinese-style type internet service that they control, period, end of sentence. That's the way it's going to be. It's not going to be open internet. It's not going to be free. It's not going to be innovative. We're not going to be able to create whatever we want and be free to do so and be popular. And you don't know what I mean. You go to YouTube and see all those videos. But here's the other thing. They're going to push it anyway, and they're going to do it. The other thing, arms trade treaty. They're going to take away our guns because they understand that we're sick and tired of their manipulation, and we are now standing up against them, and they don't like it. And they're going to take away our guns. And they're going to create the problem that we are going to react to. And right now, they're telling you they've got the answers and the solutions. Guess what? They don't. They don't. I'll be back right after this. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. The Pete Santilli Show on the Guerrilla Media Network, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not. GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 12th of November 2014. Lots of things going on, lots of things happening, lots of things. Well, have you ever just wanted to slap somebody just because they're being stupid? Well, let me tell you with the recent things coming out of, Washington, D.C. and stuff, the architect of Obamacare literally said they put that out there because, well, his words were not this, but people are gullible. But he preyed upon the stupidity of people. That's what he did. And that is why they voted for Obama a second time. And that's why they pushed Obamacare. Okay, the Patients Affordable Care Act. Let's make that completely, let's take it away from Obama and put it into where it needs to be. The Patients Affordable Care Act. And they preyed upon the people's stupidity in terms of people aren't going to check it out. Do you know why? When people want free stuff, they don't care. You just give it to me. I don't care what I got to do. You're just going to give it to me, and that's just the way it is. And too many people are sitting on their ass doing nothing and just collecting all of this stuff. Okay? Now, let me go to this side of the argument as well. And it's not really an argument, it's fact. That there are people out there that actually need help. They're elderly, there we go, if I can say the word. They're elderly. They're either, on Social Security disability, they're on disability in some form or fashion. They get housing. People need this stuff. Do you know why? And I'll make it very simple. Because the economy sucks. Well, okay, let me be more specific. Because nobody's making a living wage. Because the government has overregulated everything to the point of everything costing way too much for people to even people who are making twice the minimum wage are having a hard time. Okay? Now, here's something else. Let's correlate and let's go back and look at the correlation between the rise in prices due to regulation and the rise of people maxing out their credit cards and filing for bankruptcy. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Actually, you look at that. Because I don't want you to believe anything I say. I want you to go check this stuff out yourself and crunch the numbers on your own. It is incredible that people actually believe this crap coming out of Washington, D.C. Well, the government budget office said this. The General Accounting Office said the numbers are, the unemployment numbers are, it's all bogus. Can I explain it any simpler than this? It's all BS. Okay? I got several friends of mine telling me that they have a right to disagree with everything that I say, that they don't see it that way, that their truth is their truth and their facts are their facts and all this. Well, they can stay in their little deluded world, and base every finding they have on their little preconceived ideas. Have a nice day. Because these people are completely oblivious to the facts. And to me, it's only me, folks. To me, from my perspective, they are going to continue in the way that they're going to their own personal demise. In other words, when the militarized law enforcement come with, and with their doctors and all that and say, you have to get this shot. We're coming into your house. We're doing this. They won't even knock on the door. Well, they might be nice for about 2 seconds. They'll knock on the door. Yeah. But then they'll just push it right open and say, we got doctors here and you have to take your mandatory shot today. You missed it. What? No. Get out of here. Okay, the people that are living in their little deluded world filled with preconceived ideas are going to welcome that. And don't tell me it's not going to happen, because I know it's going to happen. Everything is happening the way it's been predicted many, many years ago. And Christians, sit down, be quiet. Have you looked at the history of your beliefs? Did you know that the Rockefellers funded non-profit lobbyists who lobbied for non-profits? Yes. And guess what they did? They created this little thing called the 501c3 that once you sign on the dotted line, your church and your organization becomes infiltrated with government shills. Don't tell me this isn't true. Go look this up. 3 words. Clergy response teams. So Christians, get your head out of your heavenly clouds and get back down to earth and realize what they're doing to you. I love you guys. I'm a minister myself, but I'm independent of any mainstream denomination. Why? I choose to think for myself. There was one, speaking of, my whole point is, whatever news is coming out of your propaganda machine called your network, cable news networks and all this, that, and another thing, whatever news you hear on those pieces of crap alphabet soup of networks, and whatever is coming out of Washington, D.C. is total BS. Absolutely. Okay? But since I talked about the Christians, and since I slam them a little bit, let me tell you what's happening in Montgomery County. What? Yeah. Donna St. George over at Washington Post wrote this. Thank you, Donna. Appreciate that very much. Montgomery County Public Schools Board of Education, 850 Hungerford Drive. Let me tell you where this is at. Christmas and Easter have been stricken from next year's school calendar in Montgomery County. So have Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. Montgomery Board of Education voted 7-1 Tuesday to eliminate references to all religious holidays on the published calendar for 2015-2016, a decision that followed a request, get this, from Muslim community leaders to give equal billing to the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. I don't know. I don't speak the language, and I don't want to. In practical terms, Montgomery schools will still be closed for the Christian and Jewish holidays as in previous years, and students will still get the same days off as planned. Board members said Tuesday that the new calendar will reflect days the state requires the system to be closed, and it will close on other days that have shown a high level of student and staff absenteeism. Though those days happen to coincide with major Christian and Jewish holidays, board members made it clear the days off are not meant to observe those religious holidays, which they say is not legally permitted. The main and most noticeable difference will be that the published calendar will not mention any religious holidays by name. Muslim community leaders have been asking Montgomery School officials for years to close schools for at least one of the two major Muslim holidays. It is unclear how many Muslim students attend Montgomery schools, but in 2013, Muslim community leaders urged Muslim families and their supporters to keep students home for that holiday I can't mention, I don't know how to pronounce it, hoping that the number of absentees would be persuasive, as they made their case for a school closing. Montgomery school officials reported that absences for that day, 5.6% of students and 5% for teachers, were only somewhat higher than a comparable day the previous week. Students who miss classes on religious holidays were given excused absences, but Muslim families have argued that students should not have to choose between their faith and their schoolwork, and that missing even a day leaves many students behind. They say the day off is a matter of equity, with Christian and Jewish students getting days off for their holidays. But Tuesday's outcome was not at all what Muslim leaders intended. They called the decision a surprise and a glaring mistake. Quote, by stripping the names Christian, Easter, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur, they have alienated other communities now, and we are no closer to equality, unquote, said Saqib Ali, a former Maryland state delegate and co-chair of Equality for Aid Coalition. Quote, it's a pretty drastic step, and they did it without any public notification, unquote. Zainab Chandri, also a co-chair of the coalition, expressed dismay, too, contending that the school board's members were willing to, quote, go so far as to paint themselves as the Grinch who stole Christmas, unquote, to avoid granting equal treatment for the Muslim holiday. Quote, they would remove the Christian holidays and they would remove the Jewish holidays from the calendar before they would consider adding Muslim holiday to the calendar, unquote, she said. Muslim leaders have focused their efforts for the next school year on having the holiday recognized with equal prominence with the published school calendar because the holidays fall on the same days as Yom Kippur, when Montgomery schools are already closed. They had said the step was symbolic but important. Superintendent Joshua P. Starr presented the board with 3 options to resolve the question Tuesday, and a majority of members supported his recommended proposal to do away with the names of both the Muslim and Jewish holidays on the calendar. But amending the proposal, the board opted to ditch references to Christmas and Easter too. Board members pointed to the Fairfax County school system's calendar as an example. The largest school district in Virginia does not call out such religious holidays by name. In Montgomery, closing schools for Jewish holidays began in the 1970s, and voting to scrub the holiday names from the calendar, board members said they were trying to reflect the reason schools are closed on religious holidays, because the operational impacts, such as expected school absenteeism among students and staff on those days, not because the school system is observing a religious occasion. Quote, this seems the most equitable option, unquote. And board members Rebecca Smondrasky, District 2, who offered the amendment. Board members talked at length about not wishing to disrespect Muslim community or those from other faiths. Muslim community members and their supporters packed the meeting room. Several board members pledged to produce a clear standard of the kind of operational impacts that might lead to further consideration of closing schools on a Muslim holiday in the future. The calendar change Tuesday affects only the next school year. Board member Michael Durso, District 5, was the sole vote against the calendar change. During the board's discussion, he noted that Montgomery brags about its diversity and it embraces an embrace of different cultures. Quote, no matter how well-intentioned we are, it comes off as insensitive, unquote, to Muslim families, he said. School officials said the time off in December would become, quote, winter break, while the same time off in the Easter holiday would be called spring break. Other days, such as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, would be simply listed as a day when there is, quote, no school for students and teachers, unquote. So there you go. I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, no, yesterday. I was thinking about this, and I thought, well, why don't they just, if you're not going to recognize Christianity in a school or Christian holidays or Jewish holidays, why not just get rid of them all? Don't have any of them. Don't recognize any of them. I don't care if you're a Wiccan or a Satanist. Don't recognize any of them. Get rid of them all. But then I thought, that's unfair. That's unfair to the people who believe in what they believe and have holidays reflecting those beliefs. It's very unfair to just throw a blanket over all of it and say, none of you are going to be recognized. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is not so easy to describe and not so easy to come by. Because you're going to piss somebody off. The Muslim community out there in Montgomery County is already pissed off. Well, and I agree with how it transpired. I don't agree with the outcome, but I do agree with the person saying it's very insensitive. Okay? So what's the solution? Well, when you get right down to it, somebody somewhere in this particular case is going to get sued. That's just the way it is. The ACLU is going to jump in. The ACLJ is going to jump in. The Rutherford Institute better get in there too. But somebody's going to get sued. School districts across the nation are being sued by Christian organizations. Why? Because Christianity is in the crosshairs of the New World Order. Do you know why? Because there's more Christians in the world than there are anybody else. And in the school districts, when you look at per capita in the school districts, you'll find that there are a lot more Christians in public schools than there are in private schools. Why? Cha-ching. The economy doesn't give you the base for financial security to take your kids to a private school because, right now, maybe one person out of a 4-member family is working. So, yeah. And now, the things that I've heard about the Muslim community, and let's go over to New York, that they have private schools. And New York State is allowing those private schools to teach what they teach. And here's the thing, folks. Do you know where your school came from? Do you know where the educational process came from? Here, let me connect some dots for you. Back in the 17 or 1800s, specifically in the 1800s, you had, or 1700s, you began to see this thing grow. And in the 1800s, you had people coming back from New York, coming back from Harvard and Yale and all these big, huge universities, right, on the East Coast. And they came back to these little tiny towns. Remember the show Little House on the Prairie? And then they came back, and where did they go? They didn't have a schoolhouse. What they had was the churches. And because these families that went to these big universities and came back as teachers, were of the Christian faith, they came back and taught in churches, okay? Or they didn't go to universities. They just taught right there. The smarter one in the community became the teacher, okay? The more educated one became the instructor. My dad remembers, being in a one-room schoolhouse when he was a kid in the 1930s. He remembers that. I've talked to people in their 90s that say that they remember that they remember their fathers and their mothers telling them that they were in a one-room schoolhouse in the 1800s. Or their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers. The stories that are handed down from this. Your educational processes started in the churches. And then somebody got a wild hair up their butt and said, we got to take this to the general public. So then, of course, you can do your own research and figure out where that went. And schools began to get regulated. And the educational process began to get regulated. And then you couldn't, say under God in school. Remember that whole fight back in the 80s? Now you can't do the Pledge of Allegiance. I think the highlight of my day when I was a kid in school was standing up doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And now people are really pissed off at the fact that their child has to be put through that. That's promotion of religion when you say the Pledge of Allegiance under God. We need that out of there. No, you're a freaking idiot. Why don't you just tell your kid when they stand for the Pledge of Allegiance just to go outside? Okay? I mean, it's that simple. Tell the teacher, hey, does anybody here have a problem with the Pledge of Allegiance? When the kid's like 10 or 11, 12, whatever it is. And if they do, send them outside. Simple. Parents get all butthurt over the fact that they're not in control of their kids, but they don't mind sending them to school to let the government indoctrinate them with liberal ideas. And I'm not talking, libertarian ideas. A true libertarian means, you go look that up, really. I don't want to go into another 10-minute tirade over that or, explanation over that. You already know what that is. Go look that up. Liberalism is destroying America. Political correctness is destroying America. In Canada and in Mexico, by the way. So your kids that you send to school, you don't mind. Excuse me. You don't mind. But you don't want your kids to be subjected to what you believe is a promotion that violates the separation of church and state. But you're okay with sending your kids to a governmental indoctrination institute to have their minds wiped with and filled with liberalism and liberal ideas? Let's see, who's the idiot now? Oh, I don't mind, man. If the fence is broken, I'm going to tell you the fence is broken, okay? If the bridge is out, I'm going to tell you the bridge is out. Okay? You don't stand under a tree when someone says, timber! No, you get squished like a freaking bug. Okay? I tell it like it is. You don't like it? Hey, have a nice day. But I will do this when I come back from the break too. Let me preview what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you understand what is happening. I've got some other articles I want to read. I'm going to try to get those in as quickly as I can. But I'm going to let you know what your options are. And it's very simple. Okay? So I'm going to go to break, and I'll come back and I'll give you my perspective of things and what I believe a solution should be for the problems that people are having. This is not chiseled in concrete. You don't have to do this. You can find your own solutions, your own way, by your own methods, or ignore it completely. But I'm going to give you some of the ideas that I have that might work. All right? So it's real simple. So anyway, I shall return right after this.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Come check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, only on Spreaker.com.
will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 12th of November, 2014. How you doing? Hey! Yes. So what's the solutions? What are the solutions? Well, I got some ideas. That's my ideas. You don't have to chisel these in concrete or, sign on the dotted line on these, but, everybody has their own perspective of things, and I talked about perspective yesterday, so you know what my view on that is. And everybody has their own style, if you will, their own method, their own thoughts about what solutions should be, right? And I'm okay with that. Because to me, my method may not fit your way of doing things, and to you may not work. Your method, that you use may not work for me. But the outcome has to be the same, or else we've done something completely in vain and have no reason to be doing it in the first place. So, in and of the whole issue of solutions and how we transcend these limitations that we have that the government is putting on us. What are the solutions? Well, a lot of people, and I hear I see posts on my Facebook page a lot saying, well, we have to make it peaceful and we have to do this and put God first and Again, Christians, sit down, be quiet, start doing your research on exactly how that, Bible was put together, who it was, yada, yada, yada. Something good has been taken and made into something not so good. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. You guys got to do your own research on that one. But what's the solutions? One idea I have is to get out in the streets and protest. Well, I just can't take time off from work to do that. Did you know that in Texas, at the Texas border, in McAllen, I believe it was McAllen, Texas, people from Pennsylvania and other states quit their freaking job and went down there to help out on the border. Did you know that? Did you know that in Bundy Ranch, people left their jobs, kissed their wives and their kids, and said, "I'll be back. I got to go, do this," and they left. Now, what would make you get out into the streets and protest? What would make you, what would be the cause of your reaction to get out into the streets and protest? Well, if I was guaranteed that I would still have my job. Did you know that the people who left their ranches and their farms in 1861 to fight for this country did it willingly? Their kids, their family, whoever it was, the women, God bless those women. Supported that ranch somehow. Did you know that these men literally said, I got to protect my country? Left and did what they had to do? Do you think that in 1776, when the War of Independence, do you think those people looked at each other and said, we'll go, but we want to have our jobs when we get back? There wasn't a predetermined end to that revolution, the War of Independence. It was King George getting a little arrogant in his britches and saying, we got to take the colonies over, but the first thing we have to do is take the guns away from the people. And guess what? See how that worked out for King George? Not so good. Fast forward to 2014, look at what the UN is doing. We need to get out in the street and protest, period. End of sentence. Done. You need to do it. Today. Now, I say that, and I'm a little harsh, I'm a little angry, because there's not too many men in this country that have a backbone or the balls to stand up and go, you know what, my country needs me. My wife needs me. My kids need me. I want a future for my little ones, for my grandkids. Hell, I know people in their 40s and 50s that have grandkids. Get your ass up and get out there and protect them, will ya? I'm at the point where I'm done with the stupidity of people. Oh, you can't judge people because you don't know what their life is like. Really? I think their actions speak louder than their words. I think what they do reflects what they think. I think what they manage to accomplish, if anything, reflects where their heart is. Now, I understand, trust me, I understand how you're all feeling because I'm in the same boat. Would I ever go out and protest? Of course I would. But I also know that people are going to look to me and say, well, I'll see if you get arrested. If not, then I'll just stay home. Because you have no balls. You got no backbone. You're a coward. You're a sniveling, whiny little biatch. Talking to all those men out there that feel that they... Yeah, but when you're confronted with the possibility of losing your family and losing your home and losing your land and having, everything taken away from you, you'll just curl up like some little girl in a corner and cry your eyes out. I'm very disappointed with the true patriotic, vitriol that is coming out of these so-called men. Wait, hold on. I haven't left you out, women, because you women don't have the backbone or the intestinal fortitude to do what needs to do either. I've seen it firsthand, okay? So, I'm not saying that everybody is a coward. What I'm saying is there are men and women out there that absolutely don't have any backbone, that see what's going on, that see that your kids are being indoctrinated with the liberal ideas and philosophies in those governmental indoctrination institutes called public schools, and you're getting screwed and you don't even know it. But you'll sit behind closed doors and tell your friends, yeah, I know the system sucks, but there's really nothing I can do about it, because you don't have a backbone. I can't go to the board meetings and tell them, and they won't listen anyway, so why should I? Because it's just a lost cause, and we might as well just go along to get along, Yeah, right. Why don't you pack up your kids, pack up your families, sell your possessions, and go to a place that's going to suit your ideologies? Well, I think Mexico and North Korea and China and Russia would just love your citizenship. Okay? I really do. Because you obviously don't know the fullest aspect of the principles and ideologies of true patriotic Americans. Regardless of how this country was created and by whom, you only succeed in it. This country has only succeeded in its existence this long by people who actually stood for something. Okay? I don't think there's men and women out there that really want to stand up for anything. I really don't. I think the vast majority of the 80%, last number I saw, the 80% of the men and women of the military and the militarized law enforcement, 80% of those people understand that the country is about ready to collapse, and they are on the side of the American people, not the federal government that they work for. These men and women, I will stand behind, beside, and lead if I have to. The rest of you, you're going to be wiping your feet off on a welcome mat at a FEMA camp near you, at a family residential facility. Go look it up. Go look up on startpage.com, family residential facilities. Matter of fact, let's just call it like it is, FEMA camp. Go look up FEMA camp, and don't go to Snopes.com. Snopes.com is a bunch of bull crap, okay? Snopes.com can get shoved into the toilet and flushed. Snopes.com has been snoped. Okay? That's just the way it is. There's no deep research or investigative journalism in that site, period. End of sentence, done. Just don't even bother with them. And don't, just find... I mean, look at the good and bad. I'm not saying don't look at the negative, because you start to see, when you look at the negative things, you start to see exactly where they're coming from and how you can counter their negativity, how you can defend yourself against their accusations, their claims. You can see how you can defend yourself or push back against, or basically reveal the truth of their lack of understanding. That's a nice way of saying to show other people how stupid they truly are. Okay. So whatever it is you do, however it is you bring this about, that is entirely up to you. Whatever you want to search, however you want to search it, that's your method. I'm just saying use startpage.com because it's more secure than Bing and Yahoo and Google. So, look it up. Clergy response teams. I said that before the break. And also look up family residential facilities. And while you're at it, you might want to look up deep underground military bases. You might want to look up whistleblowers about high altitude dirigibles or balloons, drones. I mean, there's stuff that the government is not going to tell you. Have you noticed when you go to Google Earth, you can click and go to Moon and Mars and all that. Did you know you can do that? If you go to the moon on Google Earth, you'll see a lot of patches and things that are pixelated or scratched out somehow or whatever. Do you know why? Because the government doesn't want you to know what's there. Did you know that the propaganda of the moon flights is just that, propaganda? Did we go there? I believe that we did go there. The evidence proves it, okay? And so do the testimonies of most of the astronauts that went to the moon. Now, do you think Apollo 13 was the only one that, had problems? Do you think that was the only one if you are of the mindset that we never went to the moon, do you believe that that was the only one that attempted to go to the moon but then had problems and had to come back? No, we went to the moon, folks. You got proof of that? Well, you can find it out there. Proof of moon landings. Yeah, you're gonna find more and more and more. Let me tell you, out of probably 1,000 sites that talk about the moon landing, 60% of them are going to be disinformation about the moon landing. Lies, just all of it. It's going to be disinformation and misinformation. And they're purposely, the government is purposely putting out the information to try to screw with your mind, to try to get you off track. That's all. My point using the moon landing is everything coming out of Washington, D.C. is bullcrap. And it's up to you, and it's your duty and responsibility to do so, to search for your own information. You can take the stuff that I tell you. I've got it on the website. I got it on my Facebook page. You can go and check it out yourself. You can go do deeper research than I have. Please share your findings with me because I may have overlooked something. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. If you go to the website, I'll take you to the alternate website. freeamericaradio.weebly.com. Okay? So, what's the point? The point is that the government is lying to you on every level. They're using the propaganda machine of the state-run media funded by the George Soros types and the Rockefellers and all that. They're indoctrinating your children with liberal philosophies and ideologies that are brainwashing them to look at you and tell you that you're wrong, and there's other things happening behind the scenes that will require you to forget everything you've learned and pay attention to what is happening. Okay? It's going to take some work. It's going to take some work because of the fact that people are in constant denial. Not so much denial, they're just in constant ignore mode. They don't want to see it. They don't care to see it. They don't have the how can I put this nicely? Well, okay. They just don't want to see the truth or the facts. I mean, it's simple as that. They don't want to see it. They don't care. It just doesn't matter. And I feel that it's much different for some who stand on the outside of these people's deluded little preconceived idea world. It's different for people like us who look at them and go, what the hell? Can you not see this stuff happening in front of you? It's different because we know the truth. We know the facts. By the way, a stoplight means stop. Okay, a stop sign means stop. When a sign says the bridge is out, stop, please, because keep going. It's not going to be good for you. When someone is telling you that, I think you need to pay attention. But hey, I could be wrong. You can do whatever you want. Want to go sailing off into the ravine when the bridge is out? You go right ahead and do that. Tell me how that works out for you. Oh, you're not going to be able to because you won't be around. Okay. But anyway, hey, I'm going to go to break. Last break of the show. So when I get back, we're going to wrap this whole thing up. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, please show me why you disagree with me. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Go to the website, freeamericaradio.weebly.com. Check that out. That's the main website for the Free America Radio Network. The website for this particular show is the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. Check it out. If you want to sponsor the show, you can. I'm not out to break your advertising budget. That's the way I like it. If you want to donate, you can. If you want to get your emergency food supply before the next man-made or natural disaster happens, please do. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network all at the same time. And again, Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. And guess what? I'll be back right after this. Chris Ann Hall, Liberty's lobbyist. Go to Chris Ann Hall, KrisAnnehall.com, chrisannhall.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. Last segment of the show. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show for the 12th of November, 2014. So let's see. I talked about a lot of stuff today. Go to startpage.com if there's any questions you have and check out the stuff that I talk about. And go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com site. Check that site out as well. But you can also go to Free America Radio on Facebook and check out all the articles I put up there as well. Don't know what's happening today, and just to let you know for a show note, I don't know if I'll have a show today. The Views Expressed Live is usually at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, but I'm not sure. It's still early. I may have one. I did an hour of me yesterday, and then I had Chris Ann Hall's show on. So I'll probably have that on again today. But lots of things going on. Lots and lots of things going on. I don't know, and this is just me, and please tell me whether or not you feel the same way. Free America Radio at USA.com. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too... Maybe I am too harsh on people. Maybe I don't see things as clearly as some say. Maybe No. I see it for what it is. It's there. It's what it is. It's right out there in front of us. It's staring us in the face. It has, done all that it can to try and destroy us. And we are still standing around whining and moaning and bitching about who's going to do what, and let's see if that person does it, so if something happens, then, I won't do it because whatever, You guys, I don't know. My listeners are very intelligent. They understand what's going on. And if I seem harsh to even the ones that are aware, there's a reason for it. But if I look at the ones that are continually telling me that I have a right to my opinion, but I don't agree, well, let me tell you something. Yeah, how's that working out for you? How's not doing your research and studying these things and looking back in history and seeing where this country is going to be going in the next 4 or 5 years? How's that working out for you? How's the denial of everything going on that you would consider to be a conspiracy theory? How's that working out for you? How's your blindness working out for you? Your intellectual blindness. How's that working out for you? How are you looking at this information and not accepting the fact that, for me personally, from me to you, that I'm right? How can you not see that? Okay, even though you have excuses up the wazoo and your way of trying to justify your side of the argument, how can you not see this stuff? How can you not see the avalanche in front of you that closed the road? I'm using a travel analogy for you. Maybe it's something you can understand a whole lot better than just straightforward talk. How can you not see that your baseball team has lost the World Series? Just had that, didn't we? How can you not see these things happen right out in front of you? How can you not be able to prop up? Or no, let me switch gears here and say this. How are you not able to recognize what is happening to your own existence? You know, many years ago used to, because I've been clean and sober for 27 years, I've talked to people who were drinkers and druggies and all this. It's like, well, I'm going to die of something. I might as well just keep going. You know what? No hope there. There's no hope there. There's no dreams. There's no inspiration. There's no aspirations as to what they want to have in their life. All they care about is that drug and that drink. They don't give a crap one about anything else. They're that rat in that cage on that wheel that just keeps going. Okay? Now, the problem has developed. The problem is the federal government, specifically Washington, D.C., and the policies coming out of this corrupt regime. That is the problem. They have predicted through analysis that we would react the way that we have in the past 50 some odd years. They see that. We have reacted precisely in the way that they have predicted. And how are we going to react? Problem, reaction, solution. How are we going to react today to solve the problems that they created? Do you want them to solve the problems, or are we going to get the backbone and the balls and the intestinal fortitude to stand up to these jackasses and solve the problem ourselves? It doesn't seem easy, does it? It never is. Revolutions are difficult. Revolutions change things. And it's unfortunate that there are people now that don't want things to change because they're getting free stuff. Do you understand where this is all headed, right? You understand this, right? To the people that know and are aware, and my listeners who are intelligent, I want to say thank you for supporting this network. You've shared it, you've downloaded it, you've done that. Now it's time for you to make that one step extra. And if you can, you can. If you're not able to, okay, I understand the economy sucks. I understand you're not making the money you used to. That's fine. I'm going to keep going anyway. And I'm going to talk to the people who are aware and awake and intelligent. And to the others, yeah, have a nice day. Enjoy your day. Okay? Stay in that little cookie cutter world that you have, deluded by your own preconceived ideas. Yeah, just, how's that working out for you? Tell me about that. I got to get out of here, folks. Another showdown, it's just another one of those days, folks. Got to take care of stuff outside of this program and outside of other things as well. Just got to take care of things. Hey, you got a life to live. Go live it. You know what I mean? Take care of what you got to be responsible too. So that's me, Mr. Responsible. Got to go out and do the things I got to do. So folks, hey, enjoy. And again, go to Free America Radio Network or Free America Radio on Facebook And, I got news coming up. So anyway, hey, check things out. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. And go to thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com for more information. And have a great day and enjoy.